This is the Isle of Man TT PC game, and I suppose the first questions that are going to come into people's minds are: is it a good game? Is it realistic? How does it handle? All those sort of questions. And this is just going to be a short brief video on basically that, or a review on those questions. So I bought the Isle of Man game probably 2-3 weeks back, and I have to say initially I thought, oh crap, they haven't integrated keyboard and mouse very well. You can't mouse across the tabs to choose them for what you want. You know, you have to use the arrows on the keyboard, so that's quite frustrating. Then I went in initially to try and configure it on my G29 Logitech steering wheel, because I thought I can use the steering for leaning, use my pedals for accelerating, probably the closest thing to proper bike controls. Well, that was a catastrophe. It didn't work. Because mine's got a PlayStation console in the middle of the steering wheel as part of it, I could reassign the keys on that so it'd work, but the steering didn't work. It would only work on the joystick and stuff like that, so that wasn't very good. And then I finally remembered that my son had a Mad Catz Xbox controller, and I thought I'll try that, so I borrowed that off of him. But this was after several attempts trying to use the steering wheel, trying to use the keyboard and mouse, and just constantly crashing and falling off. Well, this is a video of one of the races I've done, probably about 4 or 5 races down the line using the Mad Catz, getting used to it, and it's become very second nature. It is fun. It does look extremely good. It is realistic. I rode bikes for about 15-20 years, and I worked in the bike trade, and I've ridden pretty much all of these bikes that are in this, not in competition spec, but certainly on the road models. And I have been on the track as well, and I was a fairly accomplished rider. So yes, it is very realistic. Is it a proper sim? As far as games go, yes, it's simulation, but it's not. There's no way of making it completely real, because there aren't any bike sim, steering controls out there at the moment in mass production. There are a few that are about. I think there's a HS2 or an H2 it's called, a few home built jobs. Ideally what this game needs is a steering wheel setup, just like a normal steering wheel setup, but instead of a steering wheel you've got a handlebar that tilts left and right. You could have a throttle grip, clutch, brake, etc. And then instead of pedals like you'd have for a car, just have a little short small setup that's in front of you or just below you that you can put your feet on, with a crossbar like foot pegs, that you could then up and down the gears and do the rear brake, etc. But other than that, it's an extremely good game. Very enjoyable. I've got it set all on pretty much easy mode and stuff like that, because I'm not very dexterous with a controller as some of the younger people might be, who play console games. I'm purely a mouse and keyboard man. So I find it difficult to be able to do more than 5 or 6 things at once. With this you need gear up, gear down, lean left, lean right, lean forward, lean back, accelerate, brake front, brake rear. So there's 8 or 9 controls there, not dissimilar to flying a radar controlled helicopter is probably the best way I could put it. If I could hook my radio kit into the game, I'd probably do alright. But with a controller, a hand controller, as like the Xbox or the PS2, 3 controllers, or 4 even, I just don't have that dexterity. So I would give the game, for visuals, out of 10, I'd give it 8 or a 9. It's beautiful. They've really got the Isle of Man down to a T. It's very realistic. The sounds, again, very realistic. The handling and the controls, I'd probably put those around a 6. They're above average, but below par for a simulation. To really be able to create a motorbike simulation, they're going to have to start pairing them with some sort of controller, or allow you to use other controllers that are in existence, which they just aren't doing at the moment. And that's it really. Yeah, if you've got a gamepad and you've got a decent PC, it's definitely a good game to get, and I would recommend it. I give it an overall score of 8 out of 10.